Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Shai, Kolayim La, Adonai Yahweh, Bashim Shamalak Yahweh Shai, Bashim Kakadash, double honors to the apostles, the elders, great millstone, peace, citation, full like Shalom. And the title of this video is going to be, This Devil is not only defiling food, but nature as well. So, as you can see in medium.com, and like I said, it's a spirit that how they have it to where they call this website Medium, and they're, in this website exposing Esau's plans on making lab-grown, plants. And Medium goes back to, witchcraft, like sorcery. So, it tells you that in the scriptures. It says, move over lab-grown meat. We need lab-grown plants. How cellular agriculture of plant cells may help with lowering food prices. So you see, and this goes to show you how much of a devil he is, because he wants to try to cause all these problems in society with high prices on, well, even the food is defiled to some extent. They want to make prices higher for quality food, right? And then as a solution to making a cheaper alternative, which is going to be filled with a lot more chemicals and pretty much the ingredients is going to contain, let's say, things that's harmful for your body to ingest. Now that's Esau's excuse of pretty much lowering the prices to make it affordable for people. Shows you how much this is the devil we're talking about. How much of a devil Esau is. But it says this article is by Sri Kamur Krishnamurthy. Seems like an Elamite, East Indian. So it was published in bioeconomy.xyz, April 25th, 2022. It says, it is becoming increasingly evident that the wide-scale adoption of cellular agriculture will be one of the most transformative paradigm shifts that we as a species will undertake for food production. Cellular agriculture is a broad term for producing agricultural products such as meat and dairy using biotechnology and tissue engineering approaches. A primary driver of the continued development and optimization of processes in cell agriculture is to establish a more environmentally friendly and sustainable approach to meet the nutritional needs of an ever-increasing population. For instance, the United National Food and Agriculture Organization (FAO) has estimated that around 14.5% of global greenhouse gas emissions are due to livestock cultivation. And that's pretty much bullshit because, the greenhouse gas, which is carbon dioxide, is a natural gas that everyone, even humans, pretty much emit as well. And that's actually pretty beneficial towards the economy, or towards the ecosystem, Slovakia, because of the fact that you naturally exhale gas, you even pass gas, pretty much like flushing out like the toxins in your body. And this devil acts like that's an issue when you have it to where it's like it's some idiot out there is freaking driving a motorcycle, but you have it to where like all these harmful greenhouse gas emissions is mostly coming from these factories that Esau has, and they're acting like livestock cultivation is an issue, and that's only like the least of your worries. And it says, and cellular agriculture presents an opportunity for us to significantly reduction of these, of these emissions. They meant to put reduce. It says, among other potential benefits, in contrast to the rapid pace of developments occurring with the production of animal-derived products such as fish and beef meat and dairy via cellular agriculture, cellular agriculture has not been adopted widely within the scope of plant sciences yet. However, the utilization of cellular agriculture for plant products will have a significant impact on global food access, geopolitics, and the economy. Says cellular agriculture is a broad term that refers to growing meat, dairy, plant tissue products in the laboratory. The current state of the cellular agriculture of plant cells is at a relatively rudimentary level but offers multiple opportunities for research and development. The adoption of cellular agriculture for plant cells would involve the utilization in vitro cell culture methods and bioreactors to produce desired plant tissue on a large scale. Plant cells exhibit totipotency. Each cell is capable of dividing and producing all possible differentiated tissues of the plant rather than the specific progenitor cells for producing specific types, and this lends well to the potential utilization of cellular agriculture methods on them. In theory, undifferentiated and dedifferentiated plant cells can be used to produce different plant tissues by direct differentiation. While similar techniques have been utilized for the production of ginseng in Korea and China, cellular agriculture of plant cells has not been utilized to produce more complex foods such as grains or fruit. Namely, there is no lab grown grain equivalent to lab grown meat. This may potentially be due to challenges that are specific to plant cells, such as the presence of a rigid cell wall, or due to plant cells being non adherent cells that need agitators or other similar mechanisms to ensure that they do not clump together. Clumping can restrict the amount of nutrients and oxygen available per cell, which can in turn lower overall yield. Additionally, this may also be due to cellular agriculture to produce plant proteins being more expensive than simply growing plants in um, the field. Um, it must be noted that the fledgling cultivated meat industry had similar issues, as well as companies around the world are working on different aspects of technology, such as the media optimization, cell line selection, and utilizing methods to incorporate texture, optimal fat protein ratios, and other such aspects. Adapting cellular agriculture to produce plant material offers up similar research and development opportunities. For instance, while plant cell culture media is much less complex than animal cell culture media, further research such as optimizing the ratios of phytohormones and vitamins to improve yields and attaining desired differentiation of the cells is needed. Additionally, the use of techniques such as 3D bioprinting may allow for replicating naturally occurring textures. Besides the potential use in producing grains at a large scale, as some other potentially novel applications are the possible use in the widespread production of uncommon and expensive ingredients such as saffron, endangered strains of fruit, or plant derived compounds such as vanillin. By further optimization of the different aspects of the culture methods, and with the inclusion of novel manufacturing processes, the production of more complex products such as grains and fruit using bioreactors might become a reality. It says global events such as war, pandemics, climate change can directly influence crop production and exports due to changes in trade policy and a potential shortage of supplies. Um, so pretty much, they claim that cellular agriculture can pretty much help. I'm just gonna skip to the most important parts. So, because I don't want to make this lesson too long. It says cellular agriculture to produce plant products may be one possible solution to mitigate potential fluctuations in food production due to the aforementioned global events, especially considering that there needs to be an increased production of food to meet the demands of a likely increasing population. In parentheses, it is estimated that by 2050, global demand for food will rise by 7%. We know damn well we don't have 2050. you know, uh, the way this kingdom's going, shit's gonna end quick. So back to the article. It says technology and agriculture have gone hand in hand for a long time. Arguably, the development of agriculture itself could be described as one of the humankind's earliest technological developments. Um, Let me see. What else? It says also the lab-grown grass isn't necessarily greener. Needless to say, so that agriculture isn't necessarily a um, panacea. think that's how you pronounce that word, PNACEA, that will end global hunger. The obvious limitation is that the technology may facilitate cellular agriculture isn't quite at the level where a fully realized crop product can be produced. Um, Honestly, with that, I'll just pretty much bring out some scriptures and, Lord willing, make this lesson edifying. Well, there's also a few articles I would like to bring out before bring out the scriptures. So this is another article. I can look it up, and if y'all want to read it, um, goes into how pretty much they claim that lab grown uh, plants will eventually lead to alternatives of forestry and farming. And they mention around here at the end, down to this article, it says lab grown meat is still in its infancy, and the lab grown plant material is even more nascent. I think that's how you pronounce that word. But it has tremendous potential, even if it takes a long time to get there. So this is in 2021. So they're pretty much all working on their way of doing these things to, be more sustainable, as they say. It's within like business, and this is what the scripture says in Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 9. It says, "Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds," which diverse is going to like diversity, like different, you know, variety basically. And it says, "Lest the fruit of thy seed which thou hast sown and the fruit of the vineyard be defiled." Exactly. So there's a scripture on that, like not to like mix your seed, you know. And this is the thing when it's coming to this devil Esau, is that he doesn't care about um the scriptures, you know, because he does everything that's contrary to what the Most High intended for you to do. I'll bring out some other precepts as well. And another thing, same idea, different precept. It says, Leviticus chapter 19, verse 19 says, "Ye shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed. Neither shall a garment mingled of linen and wool come upon thee." So that's another reason why we pretty much like need deliverance, from this devil's, because of the fact that he gives us like food that's like lab grown, like even though it's at a small level of like you know being defiled in a sense. Like he has it to where some of the food that he puts on the market is called regular foods. He pretty much has put in antibiotics in the foods, and even went as far as putting not only antibiotics, but he went as far as putting pretty much like preservatives as well, things of that nature. So, and it really shows you like that the food that you eating is not even really food, to be honest. It just feels like just something to just get you going by the day, honestly. So this is the reason why you have to constantly clean out your body and stuff and detox, because these are chemicals we pretty much putting in our body eating all this type of food. In Ezekiel chapter 4 verse 13, it says, "And the Lord said, Even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. Then said I, Lord, Yahweh, behold, my soul hath not been polluted, for from my youth up even till now have I not eaten that of that which dieth of itself, or is torn in pieces, neither came there abominable flesh into my mouth. Then he said unto me, Lo, I have given thee cow's dung for man's dung, and thou shalt prepare thy bread therewith. And honestly, this is a whole mercy thing, to be honest, because we should have died a long time ago eating all these damn foods. And even before we came into the truth, there were times where there was times like they were pushing this whole vaccine thing on us when we was young. And some of us brothers, you know before we got into the truth and stuff like that, we probably took it like maybe once in our life, or maybe a few times or so, when we didn't have the knowledge. But I never got the COVID vaccine, but you get the point. Like, it's pretty much like they were pushing that, like saying that, oh, in order for you to be a student in the school, that you have to get your shots or whatever the case is. And then there were times where they would try to fight against like the religious exemption or some shit. It's some bullshit that this devil trying to play on our people. And you know pretty much they also have this to where, like, they tell you gotta eat 3 square meals a day and eating snacks in between. They're not even giving us the right nutrition, and they're not even giving us you know the right idea of how many times throughout the day that we supposed to consume food. And then you have it to where, since your food is naturally stripped from, well, not even naturally, because everything this devil does is genetically you know engineered, the food that he serves and things of that nature. And then this devil has it to where, like, not only that he stripped the food from its nutrients, he also has like a what you call it, like chemicals in the food that you're eating as well. And then he has it to where you got to go to a health store and buy the nutrients that your body needs daily to pretty much have you to spend more money on top of the food that you're already getting for your natural consumption. And I'm pretty sure back in the ancient times, I don't think there was such a thing as of a damn health store having to buy all these supplements, that you need for your daily nutrients. And there's another scripture that goes along with these precepts as well, when the Lord mentioned how we was gonna pretty much eat poison and live. And that's mercy right there, to be honest, because you could follow dietary law as much as possible, but at the end of the day, the dietary law is not gonna be fully followed to its full extent. And I'm saying that for the simple fact that um part of following dietary law is not eating your food that's of mixed seed. And here it is with this devil Esau. It's like, sometimes the food that he puts on the market, you don't know where that food was originally sourced from. So um that food could say it was meat. They could say no antibiotics, no preservatives and shit, and they still probably put some of it in it. And not only that too, you have it to where, like, when they kill these livestocks in these slaughterhouses, and they, you know, I guess, butcher the meat and all that shit. A lot of times they put the meat in, like, they grind the meat all together, right? And now here it is where, when they package them, before the meat gets packaged, you have about, like, let's say 50 to hundreds of thousands of cows packaged in the meat. And yeah, or other livestock pretty much packaged in whatever meat that you're getting. So the meat that you're eating is composed of different cows. It's not even sourced to one specific, like, you know animal, basically. So, and it's all a business thing. They're just trying to get it, and push it out in the market, you know and that's how they want to make business, basically. So it shows you that this devil Esau really has to get kicked off the power seat. So Mark 16, verse let me see, verse 18. It says, wait, Salaki, I think this is the wrong one. Hold on. Well, I'm pretty sure it kind of ties up with the same thing, because honestly, it says in verse 18, they shall take up serpents, and if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. Um, you know, that whole drinking any deadly thing and not hurting you, you know, pretty much honestly, the food that we eat and drink, to be honest, like, is pretty much defiled. And honestly, we should have been dead a long time ago, but it's because of the Lord's mercy, you know, it's things like that that allowed us to to live. And Isaiah 14 verse 12 says, well, this is talking about a future prophecy that will happen, but I'm going to explain how, he's currently, before his fall, of course, how he's currently weakening us, and how he's also, acting like he's the Most High. It says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend to heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And basically, how they're being like the Most High is on the left-hand side of doing, they're in rulership and they're doing a lot of wickedness, which is like making foods 3D printed, lab grown. They're not growing foods the right way they're supposed to, and this is the way they're doing things, which is wicked. They're doing things by the way of genetic engineering, and the scriptures go against that. That whole idea of genetically engineering nature and food. They call it cellular agriculture or some bullshit. You see, things like that is not going to be going on in the kingdom of heaven. And that's the reason why a lot of times as you get older, you have all these digestive problems. That's the reason why Americans having all these ailments, things of that nature, because they're given the wrong food diets, right? Coming from that food pyramid, which I did a video on. They're also given like a lot of malnutrition within the foods that they eat, and it's mostly comprised of chemicals. And on top of it, these people eating 3 meals a day, basically keeping their stomachs full as much as they can. And that's a bad habit, because there's times where you got to give your body a break to to revitalize those your cells, which is by way of fasting. I mean, you're supposed to live eat to live, not live to eat, and that's another reason why, like, when you look at other countries, you have it to where they have a better diet than the Americans in general. Verse 17 says, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. Exactly. This is how they're going by far as trying to make the earth as a wilderness now, trying to 3D print, plants, because they are defiling nature by not only trying to chemically make an alternative to like a forest or or farming. They don't only want to make a genetic alternative to it, but a genetically modified alternative to it. They also want to go as far as like defiling all of nature, spraying chemicals and pesticides on plants, which they've been doing giving all these animals injections, trying to genetically modify them, mixing animal genes and cells to make animals, let's say, abnormally larger than what they usually will be, you know, things like that. And they claim that it's going to help for making your food more sustainable, adding more to the food production. That's why when scriptures say that how this man Esau, his words are smooth as butter, soft as oil, and yet it was drawing swords. This is what it's talking about. When you see articles talking about the benefits and the pros of these um, so-called solutions, and basically there's a lot of adverse effects that come along with it, and they try to act like, oh, here, take a pill, take some medication. Basically, that's the reason why the scriptures call them the physicians of no value, forgers of lies. And that's exactly what they are. Because on top of all the problems that he gives you, he's going to give you more problems and give you all this fucking, you know, garbage that he calls medicine to pretty much, let you, I guess, get through by the day. But at the end of the day, it's going to cause more adverse effects and more problems in your life. And this is why, like, as a nation, like, we need fucking deliverance. Because, this devil's just causing us to, pretty much, he's causing our bodies to be, tainted. And the last thing the scriptures tell you to do is to defile your temple. Like, you never do that shit, But at the end of the day, it's like we can't do nothing about this, That's why as a nation we need deliverance from the Most High, from this devil Esau. We need the Most High to deliver us from Esau. And in Matthew chapter 24, verse 22, it says, and except those days should be shortened, they should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Exactly. That's the last scripture I'll bring out on that. But these days have to be shortened, man. You see what he's doing to the quality of air. You see what he's doing to the water quality. That's another thing, too. He strips the quality of life in general. You got the quality of food being tampered with. Everything is at a low vibration and a low pH level. And it's like you have to have money to basically to enjoy these things, to enjoy the better quality of air, better quality of food, better quality of water. You gotta have a water filter in your home to get better quality water. You have to have like a what you call it, access to, when you're wealthy, of course you're gonna have access to, like, better food, you know what I mean? Or even having your own farm for that matter, to where you don't have to deal with going to like supermarkets and buying like, meats and stuff like that. Because some of these meats that they even sell in the supermarkets, sometimes like it's comprised of all type of metals too. Somebody did a magnet test and they showed that the magnet was sticking to the meat in a package, showing you that your meat is defiled. So it really shows you, man, that this devil is just fucking with us, like, with our bodies, and trying to keep us at a low vibration as much as possible. And that's the reason why a lot of time, because of the way the food is killed, like the way the meat is killed, and all the chemicals and injections that they put in the meat and things of that nature, preservatives to make the shelf life of the food last longer, like all those issues that they pretty much like have with the way they cultivate their food and the way they shelf their food, things of that nature. That really goes to show you that that also is like a reason why people that eat those type of foods, they end up with that type of issues going down into their body. And that's the reason why people out in the streets, mainly in the project building, people like in the hood and stuff like that, that's the reason why people in general, from those genetically modified foods, they have all those type of demons on them, because of the way the food is being made and the way the food was killed originally. That goes into the meat. That's why there was a humane way of killing animals, so that animals wouldn't be depressed in the slaughterhouses. They wouldn't feel a certain type of way before they die, because when they go through that and they have all that adrenaline before you kill them, you know, when you eat the meat and things of that nature, you're gonna feel that level of you know, you're gonna feel that same spirit to some extent. And that's a small way of how the meat is defiled. More ways it's defiled is obviously the chemicals that they put in the animals while they were living, and the food that they were feeding the animals too at the time. Because even that food is not even, um, you know, even that food is tampered with, the food that the animals eat before they die. You know. So with that, who made listen edifying, let's give all glory, praise, and honor to Adonai. Yahweh Bashem Shalom, Yahweh Shah Bashem Nakakadash, stop honest to the that was great. Most some peace I teach you for elect. Yahweh Shem Shabbat Rakashah, Shalak Rayam, Adawam Yam Wako Yam Wa, Baba Shalom.